Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer, and this is the Road to the Record, where I work to achieve mastery of 10 games in a hunt for the best score of the Decathlon. If you like what you see, remember to hit that like button. You want to see more? Hit subscribe. Let the games begin. This is Motorsport Manager, episode 65, racing in the top tier World Motorsport Championship, aka F1 Championship, into our second season in this top tier. And we're starting to come along. We are still at the bottom. However, you can see that there's definitely a climb into the midfield in a lot of the parts. Currently, we are working on brakes. That we're still last. But you can see just how far we've come already, catching up to the midfield on that, and are very, very close. They're not on the car yet, but we are done with the work on new brakes. So these are the two that are going to end up going on the car with maxes of 88 and 1648, but the reliability not high enough to get them on the car just yet. Outside of brakes, which are in the low 70s, the ones that are on there at the moment, everything else is at or around 80% now, just to hold us out. We want to get those brakes on the car as soon as possible, so I'm not waiting to get everything else topped out. Back here, though, we have now switched our attention to our weakest part, which is the gearbox. So I'm trying to get that gearbox and engine going a lot sooner this season than last, where we were awful at everything. So we went with whatever parts gave us the quickest improvement. Now I'm aiming for the ones that we need improvement on the most to be competitive, and that's why we've gone for the three that were quite a ways behind, while the wings and suspension are very much in the midfield, 4, 5, and 6. Alright, so we are heading to Beijing. It is looking to be a wet race weekend, or at least on a Sunday. 40% chance of rain. Doesn't mean it's going to happen, but it very well could happen. We've got a 29 lap race. And let's go ahead and get to it. Colton Herta has picked up a black eye. It's going to lower his focus by 2 for a couple of days, but we're not going to leave him at home. Not over that. Certainly not with Camilla as our backup, who's a half star. Now, 29 laps is pretty lengthy for a one-stopper to work. So there's a good chance that we are going to be on mediums in order to try to make that work. We're not sure if that rain is going to happen. Well, it says heavy rain. I think if it says heavy rain and there's a 40% chance of rain, I think that's more of we're going to have heavy rain for 40% of the race, and we'll be on dries for 60%, which means I'll probably just need 2 sets of mediums. However, I have no idea for sure. So we're going to focus more on race setup than we are on qualifying today, as race strategy is going to have a much bigger impact when you have in and out of rain, as it did in the first race, and not to our benefit. Both cars ended up having to pit. If it had stayed dry, our tactics were very sound, but because it got wet, our tactics hurt us a lot, and those who benefited from it were those who started on the hard compound, that were able to go much, much deeper into that race, and they never pit until after it was already raining. The 24 seconds they gained from that was the difference, and a lot of cars that I should have been racing side by side with or ahead of in that race ended up picking up some really valuable points, and we missed out. It was a decent race, competitive-wise, but we ended up with nothing. Okay, we've already done our fit parts, so let's go ahead and head to practice. Yeah, when it comes to this track, it's this corner right here in the F1 game that gives me some serious trouble. You come in with a good bit of pace, And there's a little curving to the inside of that one that, oh, see, there you go. It wasn't even supposed to rain on Friday, but here it is. And we're starting off with rain right off the bat. Let's go do the weight stripping here first. There's not going to be much to do. That engine can handle a bit. That gearbox can handle a bit. This engine can handle, you know what, let's take a risk. Let's add 30. Gotta go for something here, right? It's points or nothing. So you've got to be bold. So let's bring these all down into that high 70s. 75 is a little too low though, so but we pick up 105 and 90 in performance to the two cars. I think that'll help us be more competitive for sure. Could give me some trouble. See, let's see. It's just damp. It's not going to go full wet, so we're fine like that. And I think we're okay there. Now let's get an idea. 29 lap race. We can get about 9 on the super softs. About 13 on the softs. And about 18 on the mediums. So 18 and 13, that would be enough. So we're actually looking at some sort of split strategy anyway, depending on what the weather ends up being. So I may try to get all 3 tires, some sort of bonus here. Primary, number 1 though, will be the mediums. And actually, because we're going to be on intermediates first off, we're not going to be able to get the other bonuses we want. So we're going to start with mediums on that because I think that'll be the go-to. Anything else is faster. The mediums are the ones that would hurt us the most, but would also do us the most good by avoiding extra stops until the rain comes. But we'll have to see that weather report on race day. Wait. Race trim. We're going to get race trim done. So yes, I'm going to spend 10 seconds to set you up because I don't care about the qualifying trim necessarily today. Alright, Max getting out there 10 seconds earlier than Colton, but both on track already. Actually, the first one's out on track. Set to come back in immediately so that we can get that setup down. Ooh, nice handling. Handling already on lockdown with excellent right in the middle. Speed balance is good. Downforce is good. So now they're going to have to adjust a whole lot. Now, this is a track that should be more top speed heavy slightly. But we'll see if that's actually the case. Colton not quite as good, but the handling is right where we want it. And that is certainly a big boost towards our day. But then we have that same problem. We need to figure out the other two. And the more time we spend making adjustments, the less time we have out on track earning bonuses. Okay, make sure they're both set to come back in. Okay, there There's race trim bonus number 1. Intermediate bonus. Okay, hey, we got 2 out of 3. Right on the money. Excellent and excellent. Downforce went the wrong way. So we need to bring the downforce way back the other direction without hurting our setup down here. That's not quite right, but that'll have to do. I'm still not ready to go out for a long stint. However, we might go right to the end of... 4 laps is still enough. Okay, we didn't quite hit perfect. We got excellent. I have the same exact issue, so downforce. Alright, we will give that a shot. I will push it, but we're going to let him run for more than a lap this time, as they're both relatively close on hitting bonuses. Track's going to start drying out. There we go, it's drying out now. There's race trim 2, and I think it's dry enough to switch the tires. So we'll go. By the way, Herda was purple in the first sector there for a little bit before aborting his lap. Okay, we're quite close on the setup now. That's going to give me plenty of time to get our bonuses down. We're at 97%. And as for the downforce, we're talking about a couple of tenths. Try that. 17.1. We're still 3% away. So race trim is good. We're going to finish off race trim with Max. And we're going to get him started on the mediums. Colton's going to go ahead and switch to qualifying trim now. Same thing. We are excellent and excellent. Up to 96% now. And we actually locked that one down, so that was good. We went the right way. And we're up to great, so we just need... Well, we're still 4% away, so we'll try 0.4 of a degree. These are still right where we want them. Okay, you're going to switch to qualifying trim, go 3 laps, and we're going to go on medium tires. We need to get the medium tires ready first and foremost. And go ahead and turn up the engine mode, but keep those tires. Alright, so now we need to watch for race trim 3. As soon as we hit that, we need to bring in Max and switch over to the qualifying. Yeah, let's see, where is Max? Max is more than halfway through the lap. Oh, he's going to be so close. He's going to be so close. Oh! Just as he crosses the line. So he's going to waste a whole lap here. Getting around. Ooh, look at the tire heating. Ooh, look at the tire. Well, the track is slightly damp. That could be a factor, but I like the tire heating. It allows us to push. Running normally cools the tires. Alright, Max on his way in. We're going to have to bring in Herda as well due to fuel load. And, oh, that tiny, tiny, tiny little difference has actually brought us backward. So we need the speed balance just a hair more towards top speed. And then, did we overshoot the downforce and I need to go in between this? That could be the case, but I didn't see excellent show up, so maybe it is the wrong direction. We need to come back That'll also bring us back on excellent there, I think. Yes, that should about do it. Okay, we've already got the race trim, so you are now going to start working on qualifying trim. We've got a long ways to go on those tires, so we're going to keep the mediums on. And, oh, I could have gone one more lap with Colton, but we'll get him sent right back out. We also went the wrong direction for him. We dropped to 94%, so the downforce needs to come back the other way. Okay, 3 laps. Now I'm going to send them both out for those 3 laps. And I'm not going to affect the fuel, just let them run. 7 minutes to go. We are dry till the end. Qualifying trim 2. Medium tires 3. Let's bring them both in this lap. And I should have brought one of them in already, knowing that I was going to get it any moment. We'll switch tires. Okay, triple excellent for Max with 4 minutes left. Now we've already got trim taken care of besides, well, qualifying, still a little bit left to go. It's just tires that I'm worried about now. And let's go with super softs because I know we'll need those for qualifying. Go 3 laps again. You know, I didn't even pay attention to where we're at on Max. Max. Well, I guess we'll find out at the end. Qualifying trim 3, that was the big thing. It looks like we're going to at least get level 1 here on the super softs, so we'll get a little bit of a bonus to qualifying. Get one more lap in. Can we get one more lap in? One of them do. Max gets one more time around. Colton just a few seconds behind him. Time's out. And I got enough for level 2. Okay. Hey, that's an added bonus. Max just crosses the line in time to get one more lap in and gets us another 5% bonus. Remember, we are now into a standard qualifying set of rules, or almost standard anyway. It's your Q3 tires that you would wear if you make it into the top 10 shootout versus your Q2 tires, like in real life. Okay, weight stripping already good, and we are now set. Yeah, there you go. Level 2 bonus, qualifying trim bonus. We are dry through the first half at least. Now, here's the thing. I don't want to use both sets of tires. Okay, we did get where we wanted. What is your... 98. Close enough. 98 and a 99. I don't want to use... I only have 2 sets of super softs left. I only want to use 1 here for qualifying. So it's going to be a one-shot for me. And, oh my goodness, that's right, you have 3-stage qualifying. So I really only want to use 1 set of tires. So we are going to wait. And I'm going to keep an eye on the weather report. Make sure that we're not going to get any rain. Grip continuing to rise. Yes, I know, you need lap times. We're down to 6 minutes, and it will stay dry to the end. We're going to go just before the end. What are the lap times? Minute 14, which means we need about a minute 45 to get them out on track. I do want to stagger them a little bit, so we'll send Colton out soon. Send him out soon here. I think that's good enough. We need to keep an eye on that time. I need to make sure that there is enough time for Max as well. Again, limited set of tires now that there are 3 stages of qualifying. I actually like that because I did notice in the last race that there were cars that were out on track on used tires. Okay, 3:10 on the clock, plenty of time right now. Tire temps only up a little bit. I really need to make use of that straight. And this one to get the tire temps up. Now they're up high enough. Now we can, through this section, try to just keep them up. Okay, perfect on the tire temps. Brake temps a little overheated, and there's still enough time for Max to get out there. Good. I could almost have him run a little bit later, I think, but we'll get him out now. A lot of cars coming through. We've got somebody just behind us trying to come out on track as well. Looks like maybe one of the Force Indias. Also known as Racing Point now. And by the way, if you have not been paying attention, it's not everybody's thing, but preseason testing is now on for the F1 2019 season. Williams finally getting out on track after a bit of a debacle for them on their setup, and we are way too cold on these tires. Come on, and we're about to get passed. Alright, perfect on the tire temps. Only a little overheated on the brakes as well. And Max is keeping whoever that is behind him, which will keep him in the clean air. Do not let them pass you. Come on, Max. Colton is dead last by a small margin, so he is out here in Q1. Will Max do any better? Well, if he gets past here, that's going to ruin his lap. 0.3 of a second. That is a good first sector, especially when you're talking about 2.2 for his teammate over 1 lap. That's 3 sectors, 2.2. Multiply that by 3, we're exactly 1 second down. So at the moment, a full second better than our teammate. 0.8 of a second, pretty close to holding that pattern. It's going to be a much better time for Max. Max might get out of Q1. Here we go. Front stretch, and better time. Still out, but 17th. Okay, so both cars are out in Q1. Gata gets the fast time in the first qualifying session, but we are out. And that's okay. Not worried about qualifying. I do like one thing here. Okay, look at Giovinazzi, tire wear. Valdez, even worse. Fuoku, just a little bit worse than Giovinazzi, but Verstappen and Herta, both Verstappen, better on his tires, and a half a second faster on track. So yes, we're both out. The 2 Primas split us, and 1 Toro Rosso all eliminated in Q1. Pure pace, I don't have a very fast car. I've known that for a long time. That's what we're trying to improve here. When we made our way up into Formula One last season, we started with a car with a major deficit to everyone else. We were only faster than Haas. Haas was relegated. In their place is Prima, and that's the only team that we now have a better car than overall is them. So, in that sense, we're right where we were a season ago. But realistically, the car is a lot closer to the midfield than it was. So we are hopefully going to be more competitive as the season goes on, especially as I get those new brakes on the car and as I get the gearbox that we're working on now into the car. Let's continue. We're going to simulate the next session. Q2. Time starting to show up. Lando Norris fastest here early on. Gotta just behind a couple tenths. Down in the elimination zone on the soft tires for Force India. And there you go. Qualifying finish. One Force India out. Ocon just makes it into that's quite tight there. Just makes it into Q3. Teammate out in 15th. We've got one Williams out. We've got two Renaults out and the other Toro Rosso. Gives you a good idea of who we're going to be racing against in this race, Renault and Toro Rosso, and then hopefully we'll leave Prima behind. Alright, again we move through the final qualifying session. Sponsor objective for me is 7th, but that's just a thing because it's the only number I have to put in. I would go for a lower one if possible. Lando Norris on provisional pole. Minute to go here in the session. Does not better his time, but Gata is half a second behind. And look at those tires. Gata's going to end up pitting right at the start of the race. She's going to end up pitting on like the first lap. Leclerc is going to have to pit early. Margasov's going to pit early. So all on used super softs. And then Sainz, Van Dorn, and Marilainen smartly come out on soft tires, which are going to last a lot longer in the race. Ocon also on used ones that are going to have to pit early. So Ocon really should have probably come out on mediums here. Just squeaked into Q3. Should have come out and done a single lap on mediums so that you'd essentially have the choice tires for the race that are only slightly used. That's what I would have done anyway if I were in 10th, or if I were, like, say, 15th, I would have certainly done that. But you don't have to do that if you're exiting in Q2. Alright, so on to race day. The pole time, the fastest time was set there in Q3, again by Lando Norris, who had the fastest times in the second two qualifying sessions. So starting from the back, definitely have work to do. It looks like we are dry to start the race, but will it stay dry? Only time will tell. No, rain coming. Lap 13. Rain coming on lap 13, but it looks like it's going to be about 14 before a pit stop is necessary. So that means we are definitely going with the medium tire bonus, race trim bonus for both cars. We're going to go on the mediums, even though theoretically, you can get 13 laps out of the softs. However, my bonuses are on the mediums, and if you take a look there, it's only going to just start raining on lap 13. We would have had to have already pit by that point. We'd be putting on intermediates on a dry track, negating the benefits of trying to run the softs. So I'm going to run the mediums. For both cars. And we're going to make it without stopping until the rain forces us to stop. And then from there, it's a big mystery on what happens until we get a chance to see the effects of the rain, how heavy it gets, how long we have to spend on tires, whether we skip straight to wet, whether we end up switching back. So this will be an exciting race on that sense of what that'll do to us. So we're going to start racing from the get-go. These tires will get us till the rain. I'm not worried about burning them, but I don't want to cook them. I just willing to push a little bit. We do need to be careful on the engine modes, though, as car condition. Again, most of the parts in the high 70s, which means we should be good to go. But if I push too hard too long, we may not be. All right. Well, we are in Beijing. Lando Norris on pole, and you can see all those used tires. These guys all okay. Not necessarily. Oh, it's the fast time that you set in the session. Fast time you set in the session. So that's why a lot of those guys had different tires the second time out, because they ran a set of super softs the first time. So it's actually different than what we saw at the end of the session. Norris, Gata, Newgarden, Margasov, Schumacher, Leclerc, and Ocon all one lap runs on those tires. Van Dorn, Sainz, and Merlinen were on their second lap on those tires, and they're going to have to pit sooner. And then we've got a bunch of cars on softs that are either going to have to put on the intermediates right at the end of their run, or they're going to have to stretch and go off the cliff and lose a bunch of time, or they're going to end up with 2 stops by the end. So medium tires. So who is on mediums? Sanchez, Nordstrom, and Valdez, in addition to my 2 drivers. So we could be in the top 5 by the time the rain hits. 5 lights are up and out, and Verstappen gets a good start off the line, but he gets checked up. But there, he gets a chance to burst past some cars, and big mistake there from Ocon, starting from P10, and his big mistake knocks Herta backwards as he comes back on track right in front of him. In F1, that would result in a penalty if you pull out in front of somebody like that. But Herta is recovering nicely now, up to 18th. But look at Max Verstappen in P10, purple in both of the first 2 sectors. And we're not even pushing that hard. And we're doing it on medium tires. And all these guys in the top 9 on those used super softs, they're already past the point. And Verstappen continues through Sector 3 with a purple all first lap. Now, that's not going to hold throughout the race, but what a beautiful start by Max Verstappen. Though somebody's coming back on him now, though he's got a chance to actually turn that into P9. So nice, he gets around Merlinen. Now, next up is Carlos Sainz Jr., who in real life is now racing for McLaren, replacing Fernando Alonso. Meanwhile, Herta is 18th now. Fuoku gets around him in 19th, 9.9 seconds behind. Max hanging on to 9th. Merlinen's going to get more grip down the straight like that on those super softs, even though they are used. But a lot of these guys are going to pit very soon. Max Verstappen could be in the race lead in the near future. And yes, the rain that is coming, it's going to pick up. It will make the track fairly wet. I know it's a light color. You may or may not see it on your screen, but the track will require at least some intermediate tires come lap 15 or 16. Herta back to 19th again, now up to 18th. I'm not interested in him at the moment. He's only 4 seconds behind his teammate, but he is many positions down. And Max Verstappen moves up to 7th now as Carlos Sainz and Stoffel Van Dorn have both putting on medium tires, so they will be good to go until the rain. But look at the setback that they have had as they are now well behind the field. They're 26, 27 seconds down. They're 14 seconds behind Colton Herta, who is now in 16th. Ocon's going to pit soon. Merlinen's going to pit soon. And the whole front 6 are all going to pit soon. And yes, Max Verstappen looks like he will inherit the race lead within the next few laps, as long as he keeps Savanin in the Toro Rosso. behind, which should be possible, as Toro Rosso should not be much faster than us. They are in midfield, but they are 7th or 8th best car on the grid. Merlinen has pit now, so Merlinen drops back. He'll come out on track in front or behind his teammates? Behind. So he is behind both Van Dorn and Sainz. Quick check-in on Herta, who is now behind Ocon. 49%. I love how we're pushing the tires, yet they're only still just neutral. Herta's in a good position to try to gain some positions here on the front straight, so we will use some ERS for him this time. And in fact, we're going to attack for that last little stretch there to help with that. Why are you dropping backwards, though? I've got a Mercedes in. I'll tell you which one here in a moment. Boy, Herta does get 2 positions. He gets to 13th, but he had such a bad run that it really took a lot to make that one happen. Max Verstappen now in P6. It is Mick Schumacher, who is still just now coming out of the pits and in last place. So these guys that pit early are actually coming out ahead of those who are staying on these used Supersofts, as their times have degraded quite a bit. So Max, yes, he is behind them a little ways, but he's got a 3-second cushion over Savanin. And again, these guys are all on soft tires. Norris is heading into the pits. Just a little ERS burst there. Try to get down the front straight quickly. And Max Verstappen into 3rd place at the moment. Gata and Leclerc both pit. Gata comes out on softs, and that's the smart thing at this point because we're not that far away from the rain. And it looks like it's going to be intermediates only. The rain is going to fade around lap 21. And the track will begin to dry out. So that means we might be back on Supersofts before the end of the race, which means it is perfect that I saved that last set of Supersofts because we'll be that much faster. Max Verstappen about to take the race lead into 1st place. Herta now up into P8. Being pressurized by Diaz Sanchez, the Renault. Tires are starting to get a little bit warm. We're going to have to go neutral here in a little bit, but we're going to push it. One more lap here. See if you can't open up some sort of gap to Diaz Sanchez. 1st and 8th place. Max has a little gap too. I mean, it's nearly 4 seconds that he is ahead. And in terms of fuel load, they're not doing bad. Not bad. They're both in the negative, only slightly, but they've been pushing the entire race so far. Okay, it's time to go neutral before you overheat those tires. Max is still good on that. Let's go ahead and go neutral on engine mode, though. Medium. 3.9 seconds. Savannah, these guys are going to slow down too, as they are now into the final 30% of tire wear. Lando Norris already back up to 5th place. Otherwise, Colton Herta is ahead of all of those that have pit. Newgarden, Margasov into the middle of the pack. Valdez is the back marker of those that have not pit. But all 10 cars, the front half of the field, have all pit already due to the rules. And yes, there you go. It's coming. It is coming. Rain will be on its way, and Fuoku is pitting. And what he's putting on mediums. He is putting on mediums. Fuoku is losing a ton of time and may find himself in last place in this race, pending cars stopping to repair parts. Okay, leads down to 3.7 as Savanin has pulled back a couple tenths, but again, Max, we have kind of neutralized him for the time being. I need to do the same with Herta, who's now in P8. The tires have cooled, so let's turn that back up. And as he comes around, let's go ahead and use some ERS. Close down that Renault nicely. Nicely done. Nakashita is the one he's just behind, so Diaz Sanchez, he is left behind. And you've got 4 cars on softs that will need to pit very soon. Because they're all about to go over their cliff. Norris is up to 3rd. Norris is going to win this race. He's only 4 seconds behind already. So Lando Norris is going to be fast enough to overcome this tire issue. That rain is coming soon. Ooh, it's going to pick back up. So I think those intermediates, we might end up staying on them till the end of the race. The rain is coming back. The track will dry out a bit, but the rain will come back before it dries out. Okay, let's get our first look at car condition. Oh, Max in great shape here through 12 laps. Brakes not looking too fantastic for Herta, but cars holding up well. So cars are holding up well. And Max not ready to pit yet. Rain hasn't come yet, so we are going to stay out. We're down to 30%. But the rain is coming soon. Herta was just passed by Margasov. Okay, it's Margasov. It's not the Renault. And pitting from 3rd place, Savanin. Actually pitting from 2nd. Lando Norris now up into 2nd. Herta moves up to P6. There is a Ferrari behind him. The Renault is still coming close. And here comes the rain. The rain is on. On lap 13, the rain begins to fall. We need to defend against the Renault. Defend against the Renault. There you go. I don't need the Ferrari. The Ferrari's fine. That's Newgarden. He's faster. It's okay that he's ahead of us, but I do not want Diaz Sanchez getting around us. 24%. Track's not wet enough yet to switch. Max, let's use a little ERS. From the race lead, and everybody's going to be pitting. Pitting right now, Giovinazzi, his tires were totally gone. He'll probably come out on intermediates. Harrell and Nakashita already are. Savanin is. Giovinazzi are. So these cars, 24 seconds behind, Savanin is going to probably come out ahead of us. It's going to be close with Harrell and Giovinazzi and Nakashita. Track is damp. It's going to pick up soon, though. Maybe one more lap. Max wants to come in on enters now. I'm going to ignore it for the moment. We'll think about it. We're still just damp. But it's probably going to be wet by the time we get around again. And we're at 20%. The mediums do last longer on that. I want you to push, not attack. I don't want you to crash. Not from the race lead. And let's go ahead and go on high overtake, high engine mode, as we do want to retain 12.8 seconds between, so it is no problem if we double stack. Let's see, is Norris going to pit? It appears not. What about Nordstrom? No. Margasov. None of these cars are set to pit, at least not yet. Valdez on mediums, no. At the moment, no one is set to come in. We are just damp, but guaranteed this is going to be wet by the time they get back around. So this might be the time to go into the pits. However, how many laps are we going to get on the intermediates? Because I think we're going to go till the end of the race. 14. I want to go one more lap. I think this is the right lap to pit, but I want to make sure the intermediates make it to the end, and they will make it to the end. You're going to cook your tires, go ahead and go neutral, which means let's turn up that engine mode. So one more lap. That will... Track's still damp for the time being. Before we finish the lap, it will be wet, which means it'll be the right time for intermediates. But I am waiting. I am waiting because I want the intermediates to go to the end of the race. And now there's 14 to go instead of 15. And this whole 15 to 17, there's the cliff you got to worry about. Before we drop off the cliff, which these last a bit longer than mediums. Okay, so it's time. We're going to pit. We're still above 50% for max. That's good. Herta drops behind Diaz Sanchez. Brakes at 47%. That's the only part that I'm slightly worried about. Get back ahead of him. Get back ahead of him. There you go. Okay, you're further back. You could be more aggressive. Okay, Max is into the pit lane. Let's go ahead and tune in with Max here. Pit stop is good. He is away. And we are going to go neutral. And he's out on track in 8th place. Colton in. It's a good stop for him as well. We will stay on push for you for a little bit. And he's back on track in 17th. Max in 7th. It's lap 16. A number of cars have pit. There's still quite a few. Diaz Sanchez has pit, and look at that. He is well behind. He repaired parts. So Herta's battle with Diaz Sanchez is over. He has won that battle, but he's only in P17. But we've got most of the field still to pit. And look at that. Max flies around Charles Leclerc as the track is now wet. So we pit at the right time. And look how much faster he is than these other cars. And Max into 2nd place. Into 2nd place, and Lando Norris has not pit, and we're only 12 seconds behind Lando Norris. Herta, under braking. Margasov keeps the position, but it's Margasov. It's fine. But 2nd and 9th, and we will be back in the race late. I don't know if that means we're going to win this race, but oh man, oh man, oh man, we've got a shot. We have got a shot. Because these tires are going to get us to the end of the race. So we are not going to have to pit again. It looks like full wet's the final lap, but there's no point changing at that point in time. So, into the pits and into the lead, Max Verstappen. Lando Norris comes out. Lando Norris comes out in P7. So, from P2, Lando Norris drops to P7 because he went one lap too long. So it is Savannah, right back to where we were, 4 seconds behind. So the exact same time gap that we had before. And that's in the Toro Rosso. And Giovinazzi is in 4th place. So Toro Rosso looking to pick up big points today. That's a little bit scary. But so are we. Harrell in the Williams in 3rd place, about to be overtaken by Giovinazzi. Good timing on checking in there. It is Nakashita in 5th place. So both Toro Rossos on the podium now. Nakashita of Renault. So again, Renault looking to pick up big points. Force India in 6th place. It is Lando Norris in 7th and Margasov. So your fast cars began in P7, P8, and then Herta in the points right now in P9. 16 seconds behind his teammate. That's how good of a race that Max is having, and we need to cool these puppies off. And we also are going to need to use some ERS. Both cars, really. Okay, Max coming around the front straight. Just give him a little boost. And then we'll ride with Herta at least through the front straight here. Shall we run this one right? Everybody on the intermediates. Okay, in terms of tire wear, Savannah's not going to make it. Harrell, Nakashita are not going to make it. They pit too early, and they will have to pit again. That betters our chances again. And Nakashita has crashed. I just saw them off in the corner there. As Herta went around. Nakashita is out of the race, so Herta moves up to P8, and that is also important that one of the Renaults is now out, as that's, again, one of the teams that we are racing head-to-head with. The gap is now 4.5 seconds. I'm going to go and back off for a little bit on both. That was my spot to use the ERS, though. I want to preserve the tires. I want to preserve the fuel. Herta, meanwhile, though, On P8. Both cars, lots of ERS. That's good. We're going to get a little burst here in a moment after this corner. It's Gata coming up behind us. We're probably not going to be able to keep Gata at bay. Have a look at the brakes. Oh my goodness, they are down to 29%. It's lap 21. We've got a long ways to go still for that issue to arise this early. And there goes Gata. Can we get it back here on the front straight? No. Yes. Yes, we do. 4 now. So we retain P8. We need to drop you down. Okay, Max, your lead, 4.2. We've only lost 0.3 of a second since dropping to neutral, so we are holding on to the race lead. Oh, can we have our first Formula One win? And it would be Max Verstappen. We are certainly in contention. It is Lando Norris that I'm most worried about, 10.5 seconds behind. So Savannah, yes, I need to keep an eye on them, but it is not the Toro Rosso that scares me. It is the Mercedes. Remember, they've had the extra pit stop thanks to the race situation. Track is drying out, but the rain is coming back. So we are not pitting. We are not pitting. We are not going to change tires here. We can go back up to high on the engine mode. What's your condition like? You're fine. Engine 31%, but it'll make it. It'll make it. 4 seconds to Savannah. And Norris under 10 now. Norris has picked up a second on us, but a second a lap, I can handle that. Herda. Let's turn this up. Let's go. Can you get that spot back? Maybe. You got the inside on the Ferrari? No, the Ferrari holds the position, so Herda is down to P9 as Joseph Newgarden has gone around, but Gata, who was fastest in Q1, second fastest in Q2 and Q3, which means started on the front row, finally gets around us. It took Gata quite a few laps. Herda's still in the points, 2.5 seconds ahead of Stoffel Van Dorn, and we are likely to gain a position over Harrell and Savanin, and probably Giovinazzi, as they are all likely to have to pit before the end of this race. Max, and there you go, Savanin is in the pits. We now have a 7.5 second, and the rain is back, so the track just dropping to damp for a moment. Somebody else just pit too. Was it Leclerc? No. Savanin and Harrell both pit. Giovinazzi now the only one left. So 2 of the 3 that I knew would have to pit. The 2 that I was sure were going to have to pit. Giovinazzi probably going to pit. Giovinazzi just got around. They're battling. It's Norris trying to get around Giovinazzi, actually. But they are back and forth. Let's watch this battle for a moment. Here for second place, Giovinazzi holding off Lando Norris for the time being, and that is good for me, as the gap is 8.8 seconds. Here comes Norris, and Norris into second place. Giovinazzi, like I said, is probably going to have to pit, but holding off Lando Norris for a while is very good for me. Lando Norris 7.3 seconds behind, just a few laps to go. I think I might be able to hang on to this thing. Let's see, how are we doing? 28% on the brakes, 34% on the engine. I'm not worried any longer. Herda, you're good to go. Let's turn that engine back up. Let's cool off those tires a little bit, though. 26% on the tire wear, 28% on the tire wear. That's kind of iffy, but everybody's in that position except for Savannah and Harrell, and they just lost a ton of time by pitting. So, Norris, better tire wear than we are. Pit, what, 1 lap, 2 laps later? 6.8 seconds. Oof. 16%, huh? Let's just save the engine. We need to make sure we get to the end of this race. I don't want to blow the engine. Brakes, 19%. I said they were going to make it, and now I'm getting worried that they're not going to make it. 1st and 8th place. And Giovinazzi probably has to pit this time. Probably is going to pit. Okay, track is soaked. Track is soaked. Max coming around the front straight with a nice big old lead, 6.7 seconds with 2 laps to go. Herta, let's preserve. A little late for the ERS there, but we take a little bonus. And Giovinazzi did pit, and he came out on intermediates instead of wets. What are you doing? You're crazy, son. You're crazy. You at least could have run wets and gained a few positions out there by running faster than everybody else. The track is soaked. First and seventh. Savanin is coming behind Herta, 2 seconds behind. He may catch him, especially when you add in that we have a problem. But Max Verstappen, 7.4 seconds in the lead, and takes the white flag. 1 lap to go. 16% on the engine. I think it's going to hold out. Let's drive neutral. 9% on the tires. 11% for Herta. We are going to struggle to get to the end. We're going to lose a lot of pace here on this final lap. Savanin is coming 1.4 seconds behind. Let's turn this. Let's go overtake. Let's try to get you to the end. Preserve this position. 1st and 7th. 7 seconds to Lando Norris. I think we might have this race won. Savanin has a problem as well and is burning through his ERS right now. Here he comes, though. Here he comes. Again, our tires are totally toast. The race is on. Max Verstappen has won the race. Oh, I'm watching the battle with Herta, and I miss Max Verstappen winning the race, and he gets P7. P7, ahead of Savanin, nearly catches Newgarden, actually. 5% left on the tires, but he makes it. So P1 and P7, we have done it. Our first ever race win. Where is Max? Come on, Max. Get in there. Go to that podium. Go celebrate, son. Well done. Oh, yes, sir. Well done. That is absolutely massive points for us. We're gonna be close to our total from last season, just from one race. Lando Norris takes second, 4.7 seconds behind. Margasov finishes 10 seconds behind in third. Nordstrom fourth. Gata is fifth. Newgarden is sixth. So the usual suspects end up on top at the end, besides one lowly team who gets the race win and even manages a nice P7 to go with it. There it is. Big part of it came down to pitting on lap 16. These guys waiting until 17 lost them some time. And Norris waiting until lap 18 cost him the race because he would have won. If he pit on lap 17, he probably would have won. If he pit on lap 16, he absolutely would have won that race. And the fact that they had to start the race on super softs is what gave me a chance. I'm loving this new 3 qualifying session setup because we can benefit from the tactical advantage so much because the one-stopper really paid off. Nordstrom in the Force India made the one-stopper work as well for P4. Diaz Sanchez did not. Bad race. But Diaz Sanchez, remember, lost about 20 seconds repairing a part when he pit. Nakashita did not finish. So only 4 cars ran the one-stop strategy. One of them had a problem. The 3 that did not all ended up in the top 7. Well, let's see where we're at in the standings, but we will wrap this episode up here. I'm actually quite a bit over on time. But there you go, 31 points in the second race of the season. And Max Verstappen, a race winner, and my first ever Formula 1 race win. And Max, 3rd place in the points here. It's only 2 races into the championship. don't worry, the usual suspects will move up. Margasov moves up this time, but no Bo Nordstrom, 37 points. I think Bo won the last race. And takes fourth today, so big points there. Force India doing quite well here early on. Constructors, for the moment, third place, ahead of Mercedes, ahead of McLaren, ahead of Ferrari. And Williams just 1 point so far, even though they are very much the cream of the crop of the midfield. I know real life hasn't quite been the case, but here in game, they are right around fourth best with McLaren. Those two are a bit ahead of everybody else. So we've got kind of two sets of midfield. And I'm in the back markers with Prima. But I'm approaching that midfield, and now it's starting to show. All right, so 31 points already. That is fantastic. That's going to do it for this episode, and you're going to get a double bonus today. So if you're watching this one, keep an eye out, because episode 66 will be up right at the same time, right after this one. So we get a double bonus this week. But that's going to do it for this episode. I'm Decathlon Gamer. And remember, I'm aiming for the best of the best. So if you're ready to join me on my journey, hit subscribe and tune in next time on my Road to the Record. Bye for now.